For the last 6 years, I've been completely fascinated by a hole in the ground in Dubai. Sounds weird, I know, but this wasn't just any hole. This was the foundation of the Dubai Creek Tower, a project so ambitious, so massive, it was supposed to pierce the clouds and dwarf the Burj Khalifa. But then, it died. It became a ghost story, a concrete scar on the desert, a symbol of a dream that turned to dust. But something wild is happening in 2026. That ghost story? It's being brought back to life. The abandoned site is about to roar back to life, and the man behind it is making a shocking confession. They're rebuilding it, but they're deliberately making it shorter than the Burj Khalifa. So why would the developer who built the world's tallest building spend billions on a tower that won't even hold the title? What changed? And is this a stroke of genius, or the most expensive midlife crisis in architectural history? Stick with me, because this isn't just a story about a building, it's a story about a city that's forced to change its entire identity. Let's dive in. To understand why this restart is so incredible, you have to understand just how dead this project really was. Let's go back to 2016. Dubai was on top of the world. They unveiled the Creek Tower, designed by the legendary Santiago Calatrava. It was inspired by a lily flower, a minaret, and it was going to be over 1,300 meters tall. This wasn't just a building, it was a statement. They broke ground, they poured the massive foundations, and by May 2018, the hard part was supposedly done. The developer Emir said the tower would be finished by 2020, just in time for the expo. And then, nothing. Absolute silence. For 2 years before COVID even hit, there was no progress. The site just sat there. Cranes vanished, workers left. It became this weird forgotten landmark. During COVID, they used it as an official excuse. Oh, it's the pandemic. But we all knew better. The project was already in a coma. By 2020, Emir had even scrubbed it from their website. All mentions, all renders, gone. It was like they were trying to pretend it never happened. Every year, I'd check for updates and there was nothing, just rumors and speculation. It felt like another one of those crazy Dubai projects that burned bright and then fizzled out. I honestly thought that hole in the ground was all that we'd ever get. I thought it would become a modern-day ruin, a warning about hubris. But behind the scenes, while the world was looking away, a massive rethink was happening. And what they've planned next is something nobody saw coming. Fast forward to just a few weeks ago. There's this event, the Dubai International Project Management Forum. Sounds boring, right? But the founder of Emaar, Mohammed Alabar, the guy who literally built the Burj Khalifa, gets on stage and casually drops a bombshell. He says, the tender for the Creek Tower will be offered in 3 months. The room must have gone silent. The project is alive, but then came the even bigger shock. He admitted, we have changed the design, even though the previous one had already been announced. And here's the line that gives me goosebumps. He said, after the Burj Khalifa, altitude alone is no longer enough. We focus on the aesthetics of the building and its surroundings. Whoa, let that sink in. The city famous for its world's tallest title is now saying, meh, height is for amateurs. They're pivoting from brute force to beauty, from size to style. And this isn't happening in a vacuum. Right next to the tower's site, they're building the Dubai Square Mall, a $180 billion monster project that's set to be nearly 3 times the size of downtown Dubai. The Creek Tower isn't a standalone trophy anymore. It's the elegant centerpiece of an entire ecosystem. It's the beautiful jewel in a massive, very expensive crown. But this raises a huge question. Why the sudden change of heart? Is this just a fancy marketing spin for a project they had to downsize? Or is it something much, much smarter? Let's be real for a second. Dubai built its global brand on one word, biggest. Biggest mall, tallest tower, man-made islands, it was their entire identity. So why are they suddenly acting like a minimalist art curator? I think there are 3 major reasons. First, the Saudi Arabia factor. The Jeddah Tower, or Kingdom Tower as they call it now, is still in the race to be the world's tallest. Dubai realized they were in an expensive arms race, they might not win, so they're changing the game. It's a classic strategy. If you can't win on their terms, change the rules. They're competing on legacy now, not just meters. Second, the economic reality has changed. The world learned from COVID that giant office towers aren't always the best investment. There's an oversupply of commercial space. A pure vanity tower that doesn't make money is a hard sell to investors. But a beautiful icon that makes the $180 billion mall and residential district around it more desirable, that's a much easier pitch. It's about creating an experience, not just an observation deck. And third, they're finally leaning into their secret weapon, Santiago Calatrava. This guy isn't just an architect, he's a sculptor. His buildings are art. By focusing on aesthetics, they're not building a skyscraper, they're commissioning a masterpiece for the city. They're betting that in the 2030s, tourists won't come to Dubai just to see the tallest thing, but to see the most beautiful thing. And honestly, I think this is the most brilliant and mature move Dubai has ever made. It's a city growing up, realizing that a lasting legacy isn't about breaking records, it's about creating something that people genuinely love and connect with. But this new strategy is not a safe bet. In some ways, it's even riskier than just building a tall pole. Think about it. The Burj Khalifa's marketing writes itself. Come see the world's tallest building. It's simple, it's powerful, it works. But how do you market beauty? How do you sell aesthetics to a family of tourists from Ohio or London? Will they pay a premium to see a timeless monument when there's no world record attached? And then there's the cost. Even a shorter, redesigned tower of this complexity will cost well over $1 billion. Without the world's tallest title to guarantee a return on investment, that's a huge gamble for Amar's shareholders. They've already failed to build this once. The world is watching. Can they really pull off a project this complex, this artistic, on this massive scale, or will this reborn project suffer the same fate as its ghostly predecessor? This is where I really want to hear from you. Do you think Dubai's pivot from tallest to timeless is a stroke of genius, or is it a fancy way of admitting they couldn't afford the original dream? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below. I'm going to be reading through them because I genuinely think there's no right or wrong answer here. This is a huge debate about the future of our cities. The Dubai Creek Tower is rising from the dead, but it's not just a building that's being reconstructed. It's Dubai's entire approach to what makes a city iconic. The race to the sky is over. The new race is to create something unforgettable. If you want to follow this incredible story as it happens over the next few years, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss my updates. And speaking of rival projects, Saudi's Kingdom Tower, also known as the Jeddah Tower, has now reached 185 floors as of January 2026, and my full video covering this milestone is already live on the channel. You're not going to want to miss it. Thank you so much for watching.